What's going on, people? Good evening. Welcome to United View. Wow, wow, wow. Another bid for Manchester United as Qatar have made an official takeover bid for the whole club. We've got statements, we've got stuff from the press. We're gonna go through this. We're gonna take our time. We're gonna go through this, go through what the factual information is out there, and then, as per usual, everyone's gonna get involved in the comments, have their say on how they feel about this and where they believe this is going. Owen, straight into it. What is the statement? Who has bid for Manchester United? What have we got?
Yeah, so apologies for being a little bit late. Basically, we were sort of trying to compile as much information as humanly possible because
Yes.
since about 8 o'clock, we knew the deadline was 10 p.m. for this soft deadline this evening. And since 8 o'clock, there has been a metaphorical explosion of information from all different kind of sources, all different kind of outlets. So we wanted just to wait a few minutes just before having as much information as possible before we went live here. So as I mentioned, around 50 minutes ago, 8 o'clock, Kabi Solokol from Sky Sports reported that Sheikh Jassim Bin Hamad Al Thani, the chairman of one of the Qatar banks, QIB, had made a bid for Manchester United. It was then reported by the Financial Times, specifically Samuel Agini, saying that Qatar had made a bid for Manchester United. Now, according to Kabe Solokol, Qatar wants to restore Manchester United to former glories with an emphasis on youth and infrastructure. They will clear all debt and all profit is to be reinvested in the community through Foundation 92. Again, that was coming from Sky Sports. There was a statement that was actually officially released as well. It was saying for immediate release. It was an official statement saying, quote, Sheikh Jassim Bin Hamad Al Thani today confirmed his submission of a bid for 100% of Manchester United Football Club. The bid plans to return the club to its former glories, both on and off the pitch, and above all, will seek to place the fans at the heart of Manchester United Football Club once more. The bid will be completely debt-free via Sheikh Jassim 92 Foundation, which will look to invest in football teams, the training centre, the stadium, and wider infrastructure, the fan experience, and the communities the club supports. The vision of the bid is for Manchester United Football Club to be renowned for footballing excellence and regarded as the greatest football club in the world. More details of the bid will be released when appropriate, if and when the bid process develops. So it could be seen from that it's not an actual official money on the table bid. It's a statement of intent, which we had heard, Flex, previously during your interview with David Hellier, saying that this deadline today was more of a statement of intent. Again, more information when it comes to how much money this bid could be for, if and when it is indeed done, comes from Loic Tanzi, who is a journalist out in France, which again would make sense considering the Qatar links to PSG, saying the bid from Qatar is £4.5 billion with no debt, with investments in transfers, the stadium and training ground already promised. Again, once again, from an outlet based in France, RMC is saying the amount Sheikh Jassim Bin Hamad Al Thani's bid for Manchester United has not been named, but could be around 4.5 billion euros, they're saying, which of course would be around £4 billion. And just a bit more information. This comes from Ben Jacobs as well, saying a bit more info on Sheikh Jassim Bin Hamad Al Thani. He is a lifelong Manchester United fan and chairman of the Qatar Islamic Bank. He was UK educated at the Royal Military Academy. He was previously a board member of Credit Suisse Group. And I think that's kind of the latest also, as well, as was the case yesterday prior to the game. I'm not sure if you saw this, Flex, when you were out there in Barcelona, but the Twitter account Qatari, who is a sports journalist and writer out in Qatar, yesterday tweeted pictures and information suggesting that a bid was imminent, essentially. And he has just tweeted in the last 10 minutes or so the tick emoji with a Manchester United shirt and a Qatar flag sort of placed quite next to it. Is now read into that what you will, certainly, but I can also see he's responding to Manchester United news aggregators as well. Simon Stone has also tweeted in the last few minutes saying the Glazers family's position has always been about strategic alternatives, including investment for a partial stake. Fair to assume this bid would not have been made without a strong belief that the family is going to sell up again. This is a developing story, so we'll have to wait and see. Flex isn't even there. I didn't even realize Flex wasn't there anymore. I was going through all of this information, and he's disappeared. Where did he go? Certainly, we'll find out some more information as well. This is again a developing news story, as well. As I just mentioned, we'll keep an eye out for what is going on there. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well, bottom right hand corner. I'm just getting some more information in front of me within the last couple of seconds here. As we get through this, let me just have this load up in front of me here. Here we go. I'm just trying to find this this Twitter account I saw earlier. So I think that, as I mentioned, certainly what we're seeing is that it's a situation whereby because of the being a Manchester United fan as well, because being a Manchester United fan, he's got this interest in there. And to be honest, this has developed quite quickly in the last 24 hours too. We've also got some super chats. Let me get to those as well. Don F says, oil me up. Alpha says, Fleck, that oil money is coming. Lil Yo-Yo says, congratulations, Sheikh Fleck. Don F says, KG's reaction will be worth it in oil. Vishal has been a member for 7 months, says, the wheels are changing and how. Happy for the club, whoever buys it. About time it's restored to its former glory days. Lil Yo-Yo says, see, I told you all, Fleck is negotiating with Rain. And PS says, developing story, where's Fleck? Disgraced sheet. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where he went, but be sure to smash a like on the like button. What I will say is I don't think we can get too carried away just yet, as is the case. And this was something that I kind of had predicted previously, was that we were going to get these kind of statements being released. And this is the first, I think, biggest and broadest one that we have seen. But I think certainly it's a big one. It's going to be interesting now to see what the reaction is going to be by other prospective bidders. Certainly, we could see situations whereby is Sir Jim Ratcliffe's hand forced now. Does he believe that he has to come out and release a statement for his intentions? I mean, if you're just joining us once again, just to reread that statement, because it is a huge statement. It's a real. Not only is it a statement of intent that he wants to purchase Manchester United, 100% of Manchester United. Not only is it a statement of intent that he's interested, but it's also outlining and outlaying his full vision realistically for what he would have planned, or what his group would have planned for the club. Once again, just to read it out, Sheikh Jassim Bin Hamad Al Thani today confirmed his submission of a bid for 100% of Manchester United Football Club. The bid plans to return the club to its former glories, both on and off the pitch, and above all, will seek to place the fans at the heart of Manchester United Football Club once more. The bid will be completely debt-free via Sheikh Jassim's 9-2 Foundation, which will look to invest in the football teams, the training centre, the stadium, and wider infrastructure, the fan experience, and the communities the club supports. The vision of the bid is for Manchester United Football Club to be renowned for footballing excellence and regarded as the greatest football club in the world. More details of the bid will be released when appropriate, if and when the bid process develops, which I think that last bit, as I mentioned previously, is really, really key. I think that's really key because, you know, just to repeat that, when appropriate, if and when the bid process develops. So as when Flex did his interview with David Hellier from Bloomberg, he kind of outlined what the process looked like for this soft deadline today, 10 p.m. the soft deadline was for, and it was more for a statement of intent. However, and this is kind of something I spoke this morning about on the Morning View, was that there had been other reports from real significant outlets, Sky News, the Financial Times, Bloomberg, and others. And we're talking financial outlets here. I mean, no disrespect to the sporting outlets, but when we're talking big financial outlets that would know and would have sourcing and reporting for a business transaction of this size, they were suggesting that this process could be done by Easter. They were saying that those within Manchester United believe the deal could be done within 6 weeks' time. And again, that would appear that those that are putting in this bid are relatively confident it's going to get done fairly quickly. Just a bit more information as well as we get it. I mean, this is kind of the perks of being live, certainly, as you kind of get this information in real time. You can react to it in real time. You can digest it in real time. And again, apologies if this feels a bit scattered, but that's the information that we're getting right now. Rob Harris, who is from Sky News, and he's been really all over this story, actually, in the last 24 hours. He was one of the first people yesterday to really go hard on this bid happening, this bid taking place. He has just reported that Qatar's Islamic Bank assets in 2022 were £42 billion. The income was about £2 billion. And I mentioned the Twitter account Qatari, the sports journalist that was really, again, prior to the Barcelona game yesterday, was tweeting about Manchester United and the Qatar bid basically being a done deal. I mentioned that they had tweeted out an emoji with the tick and the Manchester United shirt with a Qatar flag over it. They have just tweeted 3 minutes ago saying, and I quote, "The bid offered is about $5 billion." Now, they haven't said which currency that would be, because again, we had previous reports there. And this is the important thing, I think, involved in all of this, is that we're already starting to see a differentiation in possible valuation. We're already starting to see some people saying it's 4.5 billion pounds. Some people saying it's 4.5 billion euros. You've now got, this Qatari outlet saying the bid offers is about 5 billion, but we don't know how much. If it's 5 billion pounds, my instinct would tell me then that's near enough to what the Glazers have been looking for from the get-go, from the beginning. We had heard, again, 6 billion, but 5 billion might get the job done. We had also heard, too, that those close to the deal were keen not to overpay. They were keen not to bend over backwards and really give in to the Glazers' demands for how much they wanted. And they wanted to get a fair price, despite the fact that they're probably the leaders in terms of, if it did get into a bidding war, they would be the leaders in terms of how far they could be able to go. Once again, Fabrizio Romano, I just tweeted in the last couple of seconds as well, saying, Sheikh Al Thani statement, quote, "The vision of bid is for Manchester United to be renowned for football and excellence and regarded as the greatest football club in the world. More details will be released." We spoke about that previously, so we don't have to rehash that once again. Don F says front three of Mbappe, Rashford, and Haaland oil it. I mean, this is the key thing too. I don't think you can get too far ahead of yourself when you're thinking about transfers or anything like that. This is very much preliminary information at the moment. Again, it is a statement. It is very significant, certainly. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if other entities that are interested as well come out and want to release a statement for their intentions, because they're going to feel now that the court of public opinion could shift as well. DJ's in the chat just puts the emojis in there. Yes, I see what you did. Oil money. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. I understand that one. So be sure to smash a like on the like button as well. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Fleck, you're back. Fleck have returneth, and he's still muted. He's a disgrace. He's a cheat.
I'm no longer muted. Sorry.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Apologies.
Yes.
I saw DJ with a mad super chat. So yeah, apologies. I'm back in the game.
Yes. Did you get any of it?
I kind of did, because I had you on in the background, so I could hear basically. But the statement was interesting.
Yes, the statement. Yes, the statement was very interesting indeed. I can read it once again. I mean, I've read it twice, but I can read.
Give me a third. Give me a third, and then I can get involved.
Sheikh Jassim Bin Hamad Al Thani today confirmed his submission of a bid for 100% of Manchester United Football Club. The bid plans to return the club to its former glories, both on and off the pitch, and above all, will seek to place fans at the heart of Manchester United Football Club once more. The bid will be completely debt-free via Sheikh Jassim's 9-2 Foundation, which will look to invest in football teams, the training centre, the stadium, and wider infrastructure, the fan experience, and the communities the club supports. The vision of the bid is for Manchester United Football Club to be renowned for footballing excellence and regarded as the greatest football club in the world. More details of the bid will be released when appropriate, if and when the bid process develops. And as I also mentioned, Flex, there had been a bit of disputed reporting already about how much, if indeed an actual official monetary bid has been put in for the club or anything like that. But that same Qatari Twitter account that was tweeting last night has tweeted in the last 7 minutes, saying the bid offered is about 5 billion, but hasn't mentioned how much the currency is. We don't know if that's 5 billion euros. We don't know if that's 5 billion pounds. If it is indeed 5 billion pounds, that would be pretty close to the asking price that the Glazers were initially looking for.
Yeah, wow. I mean, we expected it to come, didn't we? When you see the amount of big publications going with this in the last week, it's just started going and going and going, hasn't it? To the point where when you get like Sky News yesterday, pretty much saying, right, it's happening. Even today, this was always going to happen, and we're 55 minutes off of the kind of deadline, aren't we?
Well, it was 8 o'clock. It was 8 o'clock. It was like clockwork. The stuff came out 8 o'clock. Bang! All of the stuff came. The statement. I think the statement came out at 8 o'clock as well. So that was the plan.
We spoke about whoever the new owners may be, whether it's Qatar, whether it's America, whether it's Sir Jim Ratcliffe, whoever it is, the kind of mission statement. Do you know what I mean? Using the buzzwords. What are their intentions? Are they going to label those? And actually, in the soft bidding process, where it's been reported that they just have to put 2 sentences with what their bid is, and that they're interested. It's quite a big statement. It's quite a big statement, and what it does do is it clearly labels what their intentions are for the football club. Now, listen, this is in the balance of whoever it is who wants to buy the football club. If they say these things, it's the stuff that we all want to hear. Of course, if Sir Jim Ratcliffe said this, we'd be happy. He didn't quite go as strong as this. They just registered their interest. They haven't yet come with a statement like this. This is the ultimate. This is a big game of poker. And that's a big hand they've just played there.
Yeah, well, it's a bid, and it's also a manifesto, isn't it? It's more than just a bid.
It's labeling out their intentions, and debt-free. Let's go through it. Debt-free is what we want to hear.
Well, before we go through that, again, Jamie Jackson's just reported something which I think is interesting. Now, I saw some people in the comments picking me up on this, saying it's the foundation from Sheikh Jassim Bin Hamad Al Thani is 92, not 92. But when it's written, you see 92. And the reason why it's 92, or he's called his foundation 92, that is bidding to buy United, this is because he became a Manchester United fan in 1992, and as a reference to the class of 92. Which I think, again, to your point, when you're talking about buzzwords, again, they've gone through, and we can go through the statement now again. There's a lot of buzzwords, and obviously 92 is a big buzzword for Manchester United fans, obviously.
Yes, and this Sheikh is, he was the Emir, he was foreign minister. He has been in that side of it in Qatar. That's what we do know. But like I said, to go through the statement of what he says, or what the statement says, to see things like debt-free. What else have we got? Renowned for football and excellence. Plans to, there you go, to return the club to former glories, both on and off the pitch. That, and it's a submission bid for 100%. And you've got training center in there. You've got stadium in there. You've got the word infrastructure in there. You've also got the word fan in there, the fan experience and the communities the club supports. I think for me, and this is my personal opinion, I think this is going to be so polarizing. And this is just the first of maybe a couple of bids. We're expecting sort of maybe 4 or so bids. There's now one official solid bid. We know that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos have put their hat into the ring, saying that the process has started. So they probably need to release something soon, which will come, that they've got a bid. Maybe America will come, Saudi Arabia, etc. But in my opinion on this, let's just take a look at the facts of the examples that have gone before it. PSG, this is a similar situation. You look at Newcastle and you look at Manchester City. Those are the, in terms of this part of the world, those are the examples, right? Because obviously Chelsea was a Russian billionaire. Now, obviously, with the Americans, they bought the club and have tried to make those clubs successful. Newcastle were doing it at the beginning of their stage, and the infrastructure's there. The day-to-day runnings of those football clubs haven't changed, have they? I mean, in Newcastle at the game, you can go there, you buy a beer. If you ask Newcastle fans what it's like to go to a match day, that hasn't really changed, has it? Manchester City, you can argue it has changed massively for them, but in a different way when they didn't have all of that stuff around their ground, and things that happen at the ground on a match day, whether it be food, whether it be alcohol, and just the day-to-day running of it. So look, I think there's examples out there in football of what this looks like, which is why, and there's examples in the Premier League, which is why, whether you're for this or whether you're against this, or you have differing views, which is absolutely fine. One thing I don't think we should be getting into as Manchester United fans is bringing down others for having their opinion on who they think should be the owners of the club. Because I think actually this is the one process that we can all agree needs to happen. And before you know it, we go from being united in wanting the Glazers to leave the football club to then entering in weirdly into division over who should best have it. And we all should kind of have opinions on that. But I just don't want to see Man United fans, not falling out with each other, but, not trying to call people out and get one up just because they may have a differing opinion to you on who they think should have the club, or buy this club. But we all agree,
isn't it,
that it shouldn't be the Glazers, and I get it. I'm not trying to say be careful what you wish for, what if they're worse than the Glazers? I think everybody is aware that the Glazers are the worst thing for this football club, and we want to change it, and then we want them out. So we're welcoming bids from all over to see where this is. So yeah, I think this is massively interesting, and we spoke about what is it going to be like when we read that first, as you said, Owen. It's a manifesto. It's not just we are the group 9-2 and we will bid 4.5 million. That's it. Because that's technically all they had to do. They've come strong. They've shown their full hand and said infrastructure, stadium, fans, debt free. And from my understanding, these, as we know, the money is there from Qataris,
Yeah, and I think, again, obviously, particularly over the last 24 hours, but as what you pointed out earlier, sorry, I think in the last week, the Qatari bid has really dominated the headlines. Every other entity that's been associated with possibly putting in a bid, whether it is the United States consortiums or whether it is Saudi Arabia, they haven't really got as much traction, shall we say, on social media and in the papers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this is the one that makes the headlines.
Yeah, I think this is the one that makes the headlines. One, because obviously with a lot of the outside noise that comes with it, and to your point, this is going to be divisive. And I think any person that purchases Manchester United is going to be divisive. And I think it's important that we can have a civil sort of discourse and discussion about that. But also as well, I think the reason this one is getting the most headlines is because I think most people most people I think realize that, again, if this does get into a bidding war, which it still could, but I think some other parties now, maybe like Sir Jim Ratcliffe, maybe like, the people from Saudi Arabia, people from like the United States, they'll probably know in their hearts of hearts, if this really does get into a point where we're all trying to top each other in terms of the bidding, we can't compete with this. And I think that's why, and again, I think that's why this is getting so much traction, because as I mentioned when you were off screen, what we have also seen as well is really top tier entities and news outlets, not football outlets, news outlets like Sky News, like Bloomberg, like the Financial Times, come out today and say that those within Manchester United expect this process or to have new owners within 6 weeks. They were saying by Easter. They were saying by the end, and that was the target that was put out there even last year. They were saying Q1 of 2023, and by Easter is Q1 of 2023. And again, that might mean that if it's, let's say it's Qatar, 5 billion, that's what the Glazers want, and money will talk to them. That's all they care about.
What did we say about remember I was talking about it last week? Was that even this week? I think it was early this week. Whenever it was that I was saying about the price. That 6 billion, nah. And what we're seeing is it's a bid of 4.5. Is that what we're seeing? Are we seeing that?
Wow. Again, we're here 4.5. Sorry. But then the actual people sort of maybe closer to the actual Qatari situation are saying 5, but they're not saying
less than 6.
Yeah,
exactly. And what currency? But less than 6, and that was what we were told, wasn't it? Last beginning of the week, so that fell in with it. There were other options. We saw more news, didn't we, come out about oh, the Liverpool situation, but they wasn't selling enough, etc. Then they turn their attentions to Manchester. So all of the stuff that we've kind of been told here anyway has matched up.
There's a timeline. There's certainly a
yeah.
timeline. And David, I think David Hellier in his interview laid it out really well, where he said, look, prior to the World Cup,
yeah,
there wasn't huge interest in buying Manchester United from Qatar. They were focused on doing the World Cup, and due to the success of the World Cup, and again, a lot of outside noise with that competition, but I think most people would say that in terms of it being run, it was a very well-run tournament, and lots of people were praising that side of it. And after that, they felt buoyed by how well that tournament went. And then they saw that these clubs were available. And I think their initial interest was in Liverpool because, remember, Liverpool was the first club that was put up for sale. The statement came first from Liverpool. And I think timing's played an important factor in all of this because Manchester United, when United get put up for sale, when an opportunity is put out there to purchase Manchester United, this is kind of what David Hellier was saying, that they had these meetings and they were sort of saying, I don't think we can pass up that opportunity. I'm not sure we can... considering our mindset when it comes to football now, considering it's the Premier League, considering it's United, I don't think we can pass up that opportunity. And I would also say with these other entities, I think they've probably all had that same conversation. We can't pass up this opportunity. We've got to try, because, a club like Manchester United doesn't become available that often. So again, to your point, it is fascinating. And by no stretch, I don't think this is the end of this either. This is just the beginning, really, from the Qatari point of view.
Absolutely. Smash the like on the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Get involved in the chat. This is for all of us. This is the process that all of Manchester United fans, what we've been wanting. I'm not talking about it necessarily being Qatar. I mean the process of the club being sold by the Glazers. This is something that we have dreamed of for a long, long time. So do get involved in the chat with your opinion, but make sure you're respectful, please. I know the mods are in there doing great stuff as well, but we're obviously not going to tolerate any disrespect or any derogatory language and just stupidity as well in the chat as well. So make sure you guys get involved and keep it A1 in there. Let's get to the super chats though, because there are a lot. Owen, I don't know where you got to though.
I got up to DJ. So the next one was
Sandip.
Yeah, that was the next one. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sandip says, today I feel Qatari, today I feel Arab, in reference to Infantino's crazy speech at the World Cup.
Yes.
Lil Yo-Yo says, Fleck, your secret is safe with us, with the eyes emoji. No secrets here. No secrets here. No secrets. Bruv says, Alexa, play Busta Rhymes, Arab Money. Owen was trying to teach you about that song the other time. I don't know if
I still haven't listened to it. Yeah, I still haven't listened to it. No.
Okay. DJ with Super Chat, big up DJ as always. He says, we have to remain coy and cautious with any new owners. Qatar seem to have gone big and bold in their statement. If they are successful, the Prem will shake in their boots. And I like what DJ says there at the beginning. We have to remain coy and cautious of any new owners, of, our want for the Glazers to leave the football club, but our need for the new owners to tick the right boxes and do right by this football club. That's because that's what we ultimately want to see. What we can see from ownership, from if we go just on a purely football basis of the intentions of the football clubs and the case studies that have gone before it, would you say that Manchester City have been ambitious with their owners from that part of the world? Obviously, the answer is yes. Would you say that PSG have been ambitious? I mean, oh my goodness, look at the money that they've spent and invested into their squad. Yes. Would you say that, look at Newcastle, it's been just over 12 months now. It's been 13 months now, isn't it? January to February. They're showing intent. So, of course, that's one side of it if you're looking at it just from a footballing perspective of the case studies that have gone before.
And I think what's also really interesting when you point out City and PSG is, and this is the key thing, as I keep saying, it's not just about money, it's about strategy. Yes, they have had big successes domestically. Neither club still yet to win a Champions League. That could change a season, obviously.
Exactly.
But that's the point, is that it's not just enough to have that huge amount of wealth at your disposal. What do you do with it? What do you do with it? And that's just on the pitch as well. And that's only one side of football as well.
But what it should be is not for the want of the investment, or if you lose or you're not winning it, it's because tactically on the day, or you know, it just wasn't your year and you keep getting unlucky.
Because
It's not
that
because of you're
is.
not invested. That's football. That's the sport. That's what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, because
You know,
that's a criticism of PSG as well, isn't it? By some people, where they'll say,
do
look,
too
in terms
much.
of well, not just that. And I remember, I think you chatted to a Parisian Londoner before, and he was saying, you know, sometimes there's pressure from certain people to play certain players, and we couldn't tolerate that at Manchester United, could you? You can't have a club
Exactly.
operating like that. You know, you'd have to come in and back Ten Hag, but also remain steadfast to Ten Hag's vision of what he wants to see as well. And in addition to everything else, in addition to okay, I mean, today an announcement was made about new sort of director of football operations at Manchester United. What would even all that mean? You know, when it comes to new people, what would come into the structure? So there's lots of different aspects to all of that as well.
And also, if I was to say to you guys as a thinking point or a reference point, why Manchester United? Why? And this is just for everybody to think about. You could have your own answers. Why do you think they would choose Manchester United? Would you choose Manchester United if your aim was to just get a club top four? Well, then if it was that, you'd buy Aston Villa, or you'd buy I don't know, Everton, or you'd buy like a Newcastle, even though their ambitions are now way higher than that within the next 10 years. But you know, if you've got this type of money, you know, they haven't gone for a Newcastle that's 500 million. They haven't gone for a City type of team at the time, which was similar money. They've gone right to the very top.
Well, and again, it's the timeline of it as well, isn't it? That's the key thing. Again, we are hearing in all of these reports that, you know, several members of the family, whilst they are fans of other Premier League clubs, certainly the ones involved in this bid seemingly are big Manchester United fans. I think that's a key aspect of it. And again, opportunity, timing. You know, if certain other Premier League clubs became available post World Cup, would they have been interested? Maybe not. But when Manchester, to my point before, when Manchester United becomes available, you have a discussion. And I'm sure there would have been people, you know, that are United fans going, we can't pass up on this. Are you kidding me? This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. But again, everyone else is going to be having those conversations as well. I'm sure some US investment capital firm is having the same conversation going, who cares about their bid? How much money can we put together? Can we still win this? You know what I mean? I don't think it's the end.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting not interesting, but you know, in from Rob Dawson. Big up to Rob Dawson, was with him yesterday. Actually, spoke to him at the game. He said Sheikh Jassim Bin Hamad Al Thani, his bid for Manchester United is below the club's valuation of 6 billion set by the Glazer family, which obviously we know. With the bid reportedly being 5 billion. Also, some of the facts that have been put out there is the kind of worth of the two royal families. So you've got the royal family of Abu Dhabi, who are obviously own Manchester City. Their worth is 150 billion. And the royal family of Qatar is 335 billion. Not that I think people's main concern about a Qatari-led takeover would be funds, but just on that, it's needless to say the funds are very, very deep. I think that's evident. The funds are very, very deep, and that's where, like what you were saying, Owen, and loads of other people have said this as well. This isn't just Owen said this. Loads of people have been talking about this. Can Sir Jim Ratcliffe compete with that type of bid by himself or via a consortium? Can anyone? 335 billion. You know, I know when the Newcastle owners came in, I can't remember their net worth, Saudi Arabians, but it was like almost their worth was the richest in the world.
Yeah, they became de facto. Yeah, they're supposedly the richest club in the world, didn't they? And and again, that's what people looked at. And again, I think it's a really interesting comparison to make to Newcastle, because at the time when Newcastle were purchased and that deal did eventually go through, and that, my word, that was protracted, wasn't it? My goodness me. And with that, you know, you started to see all of these people going crazy on social media, going, oh, Mbappe's going to be coming to the northeast, and Mbappe's going to be wearing the black and white stripes, and rah, rah, rah. And what you have seen in the last 12 months, or just over 12 months, is a club that has been run very well. They've spent money, obviously, but I wouldn't say they've overspent. You know, they spent enough to keep themselves in the league. They bought themselves out of trouble last year, 100%. Since then, they've spent well. They've got an English manager, a young English manager, that it's going well with them at the moment.
Exactly.
So again, it's obviously, look, the money's great, and the money will be the thing that people look at on social media, and the people will be thinking, like they're playing a game of FIFA, and they'll be saying, "Oh, we could get this person." And I'm sure we'll see the graphics right on social media of, "This is the team with Mbappe in, and this will be the team with this person in, and this person in." Oh, it's going to be great. But it's about strategy, and I think also that's the key aspect of why that statement was maybe released, in addition to not only the declaration of we're going to enter that bidding process, but here's what we're going to do as well. That's a key.
Well, that will make your ears prick up, isn't it? That's what makes you go, well, you know what? That's what I want to hear as fans. Whether or not you're a fan who believes in a different type of ownership, so you're skeptical of that because you think that it may mask other situations. That's that's your opinion, and you're entitled to that. But what I would say is that I don't think any fan could argue with that mission statement of, it's almost perfectly written, isn't it? But obviously, in a sales pitch, in your first sort of address to your potential new fan base, you have to say that. You do, and you should. It's whether or not the action comes with that. But what I would say is, obviously, like I said, it wouldn't be for a lack of funds. Also, to finish off the super chats before you come back in, I don't know if you've got something else there.
Yes.
Chris, I'll finish off the super chats because there's still quite a few. Kristen says, do you think the Qataris will do the City Group imprint and buy multiple clubs after United? Well, I mean, again, there had to be a kind of separation between this establishment and the one that bought PSG,
and owns a stake in Braga.
Exactly. So I don't think you can rule it out, but I think it would be unfair. We're not. I don't know. The true answer is I don't know, but I can't say we have to rule it out. I can't say you have to rule it out. SK says, in a relationship, you have to be involved to shape it. Could be a good opportunity to positively influence. We usually go the route of don't talk to anyone we don't agree with. Interesting that, SK. If you want change in whether it's, let's go away from football, doesn't matter in the world. Dialogue is the key, not conflict. That's not me saying that this should happen or it shouldn't. It's me saying what SK, I agree that when you want to sort out anything in life, whether it's a disagreement with your mate or your family or something bigger than that, you want to resolve things or come to understandings through dialogue. That's what helps the world, isn't it? Not conflict. All Elite says, who was on the phone? Fleck, eyeballs, Chalantula, big up Marcel.
Trelantula.
I can't believe you couldn't say that word. And Doctor says, I'm not here for virtual signaling. He said he will buy the club debt free and will invest in the stadium and facilities, players. That I'm here for. And Prodigal Prince said, he's the latest member of the UV Members Club as well. So big up. And Priest of Brandon says, Flex should wear to every man. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And that is not even the correct headwear. So yeah, big up to you. Owen, have you got
yes, we've got some more stuff. As I mentioned, as we're live, there's still so much stuff that is coming through. So first of all, this comes from Mike Keegan from the Daily Mail, who has been very much involved in this story, saying that Sheikh Jassim Bin Hamad Al Thani's offer for Manchester United is indicative and based on what they think from the data room. Basically, that's the same room that we had heard that all of these prospective buyers had been accessing, which they had to sign a confidentiality agreement to access, and it basically gave an inside, in-depth look at Manchester United's finances. So those interested could do the required due diligence to come up with a bid that they felt was appropriate to purchase Manchester United based on. Now, it's also been said from Mike Keegan that spending would not be reckless, but would be substantial and an off the field with a heavy investment in youth. And as you mentioned earlier on, Flex, again, it's more of these buzzwords, isn't it? It's youth and spending would not be reckless.
It's what you want to hear, but at the same time, like I said, to give balance to this, just because we hear this, that doesn't mean that this is 100% the right way to go and everything's going to be fine. But it's if you didn't hear this, you'd be worried. If you were hearing things that wasn't that, you'd be worried. So at the same time, you have to take that as you have to take it. People are trying to buy the football club. You have to put your sales pitch. If you walk into a car dealership and they're not telling you the buzzwords about the car and how good it is and what it can do for you and how good it's going to be on long journeys and all the mod cons it comes with, then you're not going to want to buy it, or in this case, sell it, or in this case, actually get fans on board. You know, it's no different. It's no different. I just feel that, you know, and again, I keep going back to it. And the reason why I keep going back to it is because I think today's been quite a poignant day, because even before this come out, there's a lot on social media, whether it be from journalists, whether it be from social media content creators, whether it be from all Manchester United fans, whether it be from people who don't like football, who have nothing to do with just football, but just have opinions on this. And like, I just wanted to just not let it make us lose ourselves, you know, because I feel like I said, everybody wants the Glazers to sell the football club. We are completely united in that front. Yeah, we don't want the Glazers here. But where it starts getting murky waters is when everybody has opinions, and rightly so, because it's our football club and we want to see what hands it ends up in, and we want it to be the best hands, is who should buy the football club. And you just see some things online and I don't know, the real world, I say. It kind of is a reflection of the real world sometimes, but not always. But sometimes they could be two different things. And sometimes I feel like it's very easy for people to gang up on each other or kind of belittle each other or attack each other for ultimately what is opinion. Some things can be over opinion. Some things can just be downright wrong. Some things can just be downright rude. Some things can just be downright misinformation. But I think and those things call out, that's fine. But I think where it is opinion, I think, you know, we should all respect that and remember that this is a process that whenever it arose and the excitement of the Glazers selling died down and now the attention turns to where's our football club going to go, this is where it gets interesting. And almost this is where you need to kind of show that unity together and not, you know, twist other people's arms.
I think also as well, everyone totally is entitled to their opinion, but it also goes both ways, right? And people are not going to agree on everything, and people, you would hope, can have civil discourse in sharing why they believe one option is better or more right or wrong than the other. But I think, as you sort of pointed out earlier on, it's about, I think, the language that you use, the tone that you take, and that's the important part of this as well. I mean, it's in the club name. It is United. And it would be a shame. Maybe a shame's not the right word, but it would be, you know, troubling, wouldn't it? That's something that has united the fan base for 15 years, i.e. get the Glazers out. That process then begins to divide the fan base as to who the new owners are, irrespective of whether they're Qatar or not. I mean, lots of people feel strongly about, you know, Jim Ratcliffe. Lots of people feel strongly about Saudi Arabia. Lots of people feel strongly about we can't have another US owners, right? And that would be... That would be, again, I think shame maybe is the right word, you know, that, and it's important to have that, again, that civil dialogue, that people are going to prefer certain options over the other. And whatever option it is, then I guess that's upon yourself to come to the opinion
100%.
of whether you're happy or not with the direction that the club's been taken in or whatever. But at the same time, I know it's not really a civil world, but we as fans should, I would think, try to do our best.
And the problem is, and I think what we can say, you know, and this is just a fact of life, is that I think what's being dropped at football's doorstep a lot of the time is the need to sort out a lot of situations that are actually outside of football, that are wider situations to sort. And that's where it becomes difficult, because, you know, whatever issue it may be, it's like sometimes people expect football to solve it. And that's very difficult and sometimes unfair. Football is powerful. Football can stand up for a lot of things. But I do think there are some things that are beyond football. There's some things that have clearly been beyond even our leaderships in world leadership, that are continuous things or failings in the world, and it gets kind of put at the doorstep of football, footballers, football fans, football clubs, and I think that's where it becomes difficult to kind of separate the two, and that's where it becomes murky, and that's where sometimes I think it's difficult for people to ascertain how to feel about certain things. And that's why I feel there's no shame if you are just 100% focused on your football club and you want the best for it, and that's where you're coming from. Also, with a bigger debate and bigger situations to talk about that are bigger than football, it's also important to have those conversations in the right arenas as well. I agree with that.
And I think I
And
think
that's
it's
what it is.
okay. I think it's also okay. Because I'll be honest, kind of how my sort of thoughts on it at the moment is it's okay to feel conflicted. You know,
Yeah.
that you go, actually, I don't know what to think about this, you know, and I don't, you know, I really don't. I'm a fan at the end of the day, and I'm not sure what to think about it or how to feel about it. And I think it's going to take, I think that's going to take more time and discussion about how do you actually feel about it? I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know how I feel about a lot of the options, honestly. And again, but I also think it's important to be able to have those conversations too, without the risk of sheer judgment. You know, I think that's
Exactly.
important as well.
And give your opinion. You know, my opinion is I want the club to go to the people who have its best intentions at heart, matched with the resources to be able to back up what they say they're going to do. If Sir Jim Ratcliffe can do that, if the Qataris can do that, if the USA can do that, if Saudi Arabia can do that, somebody has to own the club. Somebody has to own the club, and you can always find pros and cons in any one or any body or any consortium or person who owns the football club. So for me personally, and I'm talking in my opinion, I'm not speaking for anybody else. In my opinion, what I won't do is rule people out either because of where they're from, just for no reason. And I won't rule people in just because they've got money. You know, I just want to see why, what the resources are, what the intentions are for the club. And I think also what's more interesting about now with this type of bid coming from Qatar is we've seen examples of this already within our game. So the precedence has been set. So that whole it shouldn't I don't agree with the whole that shouldn't happen because in football, because well, it's happening. It's happened. And whoever owns the club, I guarantee there will be some sort of issue that you could find as to the pros and cons. And that's for me what I will base my decision on, in my opinion. Everyone's entitled to theirs.
Mike Keegan, also from the Daily Mail, just reporting again in the last couple of minutes, saying, quote, there is cautious optimism inside Manchester United following tonight's Qatari statement. And I think it's quite interesting that he's saying not from Qatar, he's saying from actually inside the club itself. He's saying there's cautious optimism from inside Manchester United following tonight's Qatari statement. So maybe that would be in line again with some of the other reports that are saying from, you know, particularly from those closer to Qatar, saying that, you know, green tick, it's near enough. I mean, the story last night was they were saying simple steps away from an acquisition. So maybe again that's where this cautious optimism comes from.
Yeah, some people have even said done deal. You know, some people even saying it's happening. It's very close. Dan Watson says, I hope these people with all these silly Qatari comments and views don't shop in Sainsbury's, use Heathrow Airport, or bank with Barclays. Look, anything you touch, use, do in your life, experience in your life, place you travel to, or something can be related back to something else that maybe you might not like. You know, you could say things about the Middle East, anywhere in the Middle East, but some people may still go on holiday in Dubai. You could say things about the Middle East and stuff and the energy and stuff that we use, unless you're walking around your house with a candle and stuff and don't use any commodities from that part of the world, then, you know, you have to be careful. Are you saying that? It becomes, you know, very, very murky waters, in my opinion. And that's why for me, I just look at the football and I look at what precedence has been set beforehand. I look at examples that have gone beforehand, and go to there. And in my personal opinion, having been to Qatar again, it's no secret that I was there. I can talk about that. I'm not, like I said, when I went there, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a brilliant World Cup. It was a fantastic World Cup, and everybody was very hospitable to me. I know I went there when all the eyes of the world was watching, and you know, I had great dialogue out there, great conversations out there, met some great people, and, you know, met some very honest people who, you know, asked me how I feel about Qatar and asked me, you know, how they feel about sport in general. And I learned how much they love the Premier League. I learned how big football is in that part of the world, which I didn't even know. I didn't even know that until I went there. I did not realize how big football in general was in that part of the world, and was also shown that there's things to work on, like there is everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think also again, it's interesting, like you're talking about the precedent being set as well, and almost to steer it back to almost the football side of things, is that there had been this discussion, hadn't there, about what was the separation between QSI and PSG and this possible Manchester United bid. And to your point, even the precedent's been set when it comes to that as well, because you look at RB Leipzig and RB Salzburg. Isn't there? They've got the same name, RB
Yeah,
for it. They're
yeah,
part of the Red Bull company, and there was this thing about can they
yeah,
play in the Champions League? And by all accounts, it's because they are operated by separate entities, separate companies, but they're in this, I guess, the same. I don't know. To me, that's almost even more blatant. to be honest, they got the same part of the name.
yeah,
But again, the precedent's been set with that, and also when it comes to sort of state-backed clubs as well, the precedent's already been set, and I think even that might be an element as to why those in Qatar and those in United might be cautiously optimistic this evening, because they might feel the same thing, like the precedent's been set, and even if there was sort of legal blockages, as it were, they can point to those examples and say, well, what's the difference? What's the difference between them and us? And also just another line coming out of Sky Sports News saying the potential Qatari owners do not want to make any money from Manchester United. That's also another point. I mean, they're really hitting those buzzwords, aren't they?
They've got, exactly. They got, like I said, that I do know, that is not an issue. We all know that. Jedi Pro says, great to hear UV's coverage of the buyout. Balanced, honest, transparent, and fair. Thank you. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. And just to Filmo here, you are blocking me from cementing about state-owned business. Sad, Flex, sad. You haven't been blocked. Like I said, as long as no opinions or comments are rude or derogatory or going where they shouldn't go, everyone can have their say. That's all I'll say.
And I think it's, as we said before, it's important to state that there will be, obviously, especially nowadays, it's very much you're either left or right sort of thing. So there will be people that are on real opposite ends of the spectrum on this. But at the same time, I do think there will be a lot of people in the middle that still today, even like a week into this news becoming more and more real, and today we're becoming really real with this statement being put out there and this bid being made. I'm sure there's a lot of people that feel quite conflicted, and that's okay too. It's okay not to be.
But we've never been in this position before.
Yeah, it's okay to be like. It's okay to be like. I really don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. And that's challenging too, but that's okay as long as you, to your point, as long as you can have those sort of civil discussions about both sides of things.
David T says, also, we've seen how the league reacted to the human rights issues involving Russia in regards to the Chelsea ownership. We're going to be okay. Hi Flex, this is from Monaghan. Hi Flex, huge fan here. Can I please mod for you, bro? I'm sure we can sort that out at some stage. Big up to you. Thank you. Appreciate that. And super chats, I just want to make sure we've also seen. I think we're up to date, actually. Yeah, we are. I think this is going to be fascinating. It really is. It feels weird. It does. I don't know how you feel, and I don't want to see how you lot feel in the comments, actually, in the chat. Away from like the more kind of deeper side of this, let's just talk about it from like how we're all feeling. How does it feel knowing that like the club's going to get sold?
Yeah, well, this was something I brought up the other
Glazers,
day.
like Glazers out is like a thing.
Yeah,
Imagine like, and I'm saying again, another video for another time about talking about once the new owners are confirmed and who they're going to be, etc. But let's just talk about right now in terms of for years, Owen, it's been straight up Glazers out, and it's like, imagine where at Man United Glazers out just isn't a thing anymore.
I mean, I brought it up the other day. I think I started one of the streams with it, saying that again, it's weird, isn't it? It does feel surreal that because so many times this channel's only been going for like 18 months, or however long it's been.
Yeah.
And so many times when the Glazer topic has come up, we have said, it's all great us, talking about it, but they're never going to sell. They're not selling.
That's the
They don't
line,
need to
isn't it?
sell.
That's the line.
They don't need to sell because they're making money. And to be fair, there were those.
Yeah, that's on. I feel excited and clueless. Yeah,
there were those that said that well, you know, eventually the money will dry up, and we said, nah, the money won't dry up. Manchester United, it's a license to print money. You know, we can burn through cash, but that's because we've got it. You've got to have cash to burn through in the first place. But it did. It has. It dried up. They hit the point of no return. They went, oh shit, we've got to invest in the stadium. We've got to invest in the training ground. We don't have that money. And they thought, wow, you know, and also, you know, the siblings, by all account, other parts of the Glazer family will go, no, Sal, like we don't want this anymore. We don't want a part of this. And to your point, it does feel surreal. It does feel surreal. I mean, almost to the point whereby you're expecting another twist and another turn, honestly. I mean, we're so scarred by it all that we're going on, what's next? What's going to happen? You know, are the Glazers going to pull a Wolf of Wall Street? We're not fucking leaving. You know, they're going to be doing that. Honestly, I don't know how, again, with all of it, I don't know.
Well, and that's an interesting one, because Simon Stone did say earlier, didn't he, in his tweet? I can't remember exactly what he said, but he basically was saying that to go that strong with a bid that high, you think you're going to get it. You know what I mean? I think that's what he said. Let me actually pull up his actual what he said. I just thought it was quite interesting, actually. There you go. He said, Glazer so far, Manchester. I can't find it, but he was basically said,
chat. I'll find it.
Yeah. Dan Watson said, if Qatar buys United, that means no Super League for us. The relationship between Qatar, UEFA, and the Premier League is very strong. This won't be turned down, in my opinion. Yeah, it's interesting that, because, you know, we saw the Super Head Rarest League. With that, I mean, something's coming. I mean, this is a slightly different topic. Some form of reform is coming. It just depends what it is. I saw Tony Cruz with some comments saying that he wants it. You know, it
depends.
Something's going to change.
Reforms come to the Champions League. You know, the Champions League exactly changing very soon.
And if you think, exactly, just in general, just that's with UEFA. So, and also, I'm not saying the Super League is a good thing, by the way. I'm just talking about football evolving, and when it always does, and it's in its cyclical nature. The Premier League was that. The Premier League.
Well, the was a breakaway league. It was a breakaway league. Yeah. I mean, what's curious about this as well is I saw, I don't know if you saw the discourse between Guillaume Balaguer and Jamie Carragher over the last 24 hours. So basically, Balaguer he was on, I think he was on CBS, that Golazzo show, you know, with the Champions League coverage they have. And he was essentially saying that it's not fair. It's not fair that what the wealth that the Premier League has is not fair, and other leagues like La Liga now cannot compete, and that's not fair. And football needs to be regulated because it's not fair. And Jamie Carragher pushed back. And to be fair, I'm not the biggest Carragher fan with all this kind of stuff, but he did get it pretty much spot on. Where he said, "You're going to talk about fair." He said, first of all, La Liga had the opportunity to share out the TV rights revenues similarly to the Premier League. People vetoed it, Real Madrid, Barcelona. In addition to that, over the last, 20 years, Real Madrid and Barcelona systemically have gone to the biggest and best clubs around Europe, particularly in the Premier League, and cherry-picked the best players and spent the most money. It's only been in recent years that these world record fees have been broken by these other clubs that haven't been Barcelona and Real Madrid, and they've still done just that, right? They bought Cristiano Ronaldo for us at the time for a world record fee. That year, they had the second world record fee when they bought Kaká, okay? So let's not pretend that Real Madrid and Barcelona haven't had money for years, and now Barcelona are paying for it, but even whilst they're paying for it, they're still spending huge amounts of money as well. So again, I think that's quite interesting. And I have found the tweet you run about Flex too. Yes, I think the bit you were saying here is that the Glazers family position has always been about strategic alternatives, including investment for a partial stake. Fair to assume this bid would have not been made without a strong belief the family are going to sell up. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes. There you go. That's the one. Exactly. Basically saying for them to make such an important bid, they believe that family's selling. You know, they believe that family's selling. Elliot Ford says, love the stream, guys, and keep up the work. 100%. And again, I've seen a couple of silly chats in there. Guys, just honestly, just do the right thing. It's not being silly. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't need to be. It's just don't be immature. It really is that simple. Big up to Mina in the chat as well. She's one of our mods and our presenters, of course. Big up to Mina.
And it was her birthday the other day. Happy birthday.
And exactly, happy birthday as well. Exactly, big happy birthday to you and the family. We've got Steffi Jenks. We've got many. Let's talk about some of the members actually, because the members community is growing.
Oh,
There's loads.
oh,
Go on,
Flex.
go
I
on.
watched Ant-Man Quantumania today. Okay.
What does
Now,
that mean? What
I watched. Well, we'll
what
get
is
to
that?
it. But if the members want it, if the members are open to this, if this is what they want, I am happy to do a Ant-Man Quantumania review for the members as part of the UV members club. I want to bring more comic book stuff to that part of the channel. I mean, it's not football related, but it's
Whoa!
different.
All of the I don't know. All
Oh
of
no, I'm not going to
the
spoil it. I'm not going to
superhero people.
I'm not going to spoil it. I didn't say spoilers. I said in the members part of it, I would do a review, and I can do a spoiler-free review as well, if that's something that you guys would want.
How'd
Not
you do
now.
that? How'd you do that? If you
They do that all the time before the critics
talk about something and say it's good or bad without giving
critics go and see the film before it's actually been released, and they have to put reviews out there, and they'll say like. And the thing is, now you're going to think I'm talking about the film. I'm not. I'm not.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it.
They'll say like, oh, you know, the pacing was a bit this, that, and the other, or
okay.
that
not
kind
the
of thing.
Story, like
yeah.
It was really good. It was really
Manish.
Easy
Manish, there goes. They'll talk about the cinematography, the acting, the music, etc. You know, they'll do that kind of thing. Broad strokes.
Wait, so you're going to tell me what songs are in it? I'm spoiling it.
No, they'll say certain situations, they'll go like, oh, I'm not sure if that was as reflective or set the right tone for the scene, or, you know, it struggles to they say stuff like, oh, it struggles to understand its message at different points. It feels a bit confused. Like, that's, again, not talking about the film. But if you do want to have, I mean, it's up to what the UV members want. If they want a full spoiler review, they can get it. They can get it.
Do you want it?
No, and the thing is, and even because I'll say on it in the title, I'll say spoilers, and then during it, I'll say, I'm going to go into spoilers now. So, you know.
Oh, is that what the community do? Is that like you put spoiler alert or spoilers in it? So if you don't want to be spoiled, don't click. And then you get another warning.
Yeah.
In right. Okay. All right. Okay. All
if
right,
if that's what they want, you know what I mean? If that's what they want, I'll do it.
All right, cool. Well, let us know.
Red Eye says no.
Well,
wow.
No spoiler review. They're actually saying no.
They're actually saying no. Well, you don't have to watch it. You know what I mean? This is why I don't understand with that kind of stuff. You know what I
mean? What is interesting is that we're getting because I know that the final deadline, I swear it was 10 p.m. UK tonight, isn't it?
Yes.
As in 10 minutes time, 8 minutes time. Someone else has said it there in the chat. Is there not any others then? Is that going to be it? Because you know we're saying they're expecting USA, expecting Saudi Arabia, etc. We haven't really seen anything from that. It's been straight Qatar and Sir Jim Ratcliffe.
What was interesting again, and I would recommend go watch the interview, David Hellier. Also go watch the Barcelona mega vlog. It's out now. But in the interview that you did, he did say that actually some bids could come in officially after that deadline. He said, like, don't rule that out either. It's a very soft deadline. However, one would think that given how intense the Qatar bid has been this evening, and again, a manifesto, it was kind of a case of they'll be like, well, if we sort of drag our heels a little bit here, they're going to sail up and it's going to be done. You know, this could be any more time you wait is further ahead in the process that this Qatar bid might be. And it might get to the point where even if they decided to wait a couple of days, we just wanted to double check and do our due diligence, they could put the bid into United and they could be like, hey, it's done, mate. You're too late. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, we did speak about this a little bit earlier. Bruce Wayne and Batman. Where are they? Is that Batman?
Yeah. Flex, and this is the thing. Flex saw the Flash trailer the other day, and then he sent me a picture of Michael Keaton with the bat signal behind him, and he was like, "What am I doing?" And I was like, "Well, I think watching Batman." probably. Like I saw the trailer and I had to. That's very my era. That.
Yes, 100%, 100%. It's nice. Two most powerful people in Qatar are United fans. By the way, the 9-2 Foundation buying us was named after the class of 92 and 92 and 1992. He became a fan of United 100%. We did speak about that earlier. Thank you, Bruce Wayne, aka Batman. A. Andrews says, Man United fan my whole life, served in Iraq. and then became a history teacher. Many considerations, human rights, economics, environmental issues, and just love of sport. I just want owners that do what's best. That's really interesting, Andrew. That's a really interesting perspective and experiences that you've drawn on. You know, you've served in Iraq, you became a history teacher. Wow. You've experienced a lot of stuff there. And he says many considerations, human rights, economics, environmental issues, and just love of sport. I just want the owners that do what's best. I think that's a good super chat. It's a good comment. Thank you. Limania 44 says, Flex and Owen, my wife and I just got our first baby. We called her Harina. Please welcome her into the community. I want to make sure I say that right. Haryana. That might be right. Yeah. Welcome, Haryana.
Yes,
congratulations.
Welcome. Congratulations,
welcome
indeed.
To the UV community. Welcome,
the youngest
Haryana.
member.
Literally, you are
the youngest.
Haryana, the youngest member of the UV Members Club officially. So well done to you and your wife, and I hope you and the family are all good, Limania.
Yes,
well done. That's
indeed.
really good to hear. Just before we finish, a little bit off topic. I know you've done Match Day Reloaded, and I know everyone's had their say afterwards, but just in a debrief, I love our team, man. Honestly, I love our team. I love our manager. And if he gets backed in the right way, which it looks like this could happen one way or another through new owners anyway, with the Glazers going, I think we're on. I'll be honest. Yeah, yesterday, because of where it was, and I know it's not the same Barcelona. Clearly, it's not it's not the top level Barcelona. We know that both teams are in Europa League. It's not top level Man United. But for us to even so to go there and play like that, to the point where we left there saying, for God's sake, man, we should have won. We're disappointed. We should not have been drawing that game. We should have won that game. And you could talk about little fine margins and instances of why you didn't, and that's fine. And, even if we, barring a catastrophe, even if we don't go through, I don't care about that. I'm talking about yesterday was a moment for me because it was at one of the meccas of football. And I sat there in that Camp Nou and I looked at the way the team played under this manager who's been there since bloody August or whatever it is. And I went, wow, you know what? Wow. I just, and, bumping into the guys afterwards and having a little catch up with some of them. Check out the vlog. They're just so happy. Even though they were kind of a bit miserable yesterday, because actually they should have won.
Marcus Rashford's interview was so telling after the game, and he looked devastated. Honestly, he was almost furious. And I thought to myself, I went, look at those standards. I mean, but it's strange because to come out to play Barcelona at the Camp Nou, to draw 2-2, and to be annoyed after the game, I tell you what, we should have won 5-2. Yeah. We should have battered them. And it just goes to show how far we've come. I mean, you wouldn't have seen it, but Ten Hag before the game did an interview with BT, and my goodness, did that guy look up for it. He was
Do you know how funny that is, Owen?
He was like, I want to come here and I want to win. I want to win as Manchester United. We're not going to be afraid of him. We're going to attack him because Paul Scholes was like, you're going to sit back. He went, we can.
I was just about to say, was that the one with Paul Scholes? Was that Jules Breach and Paul Scholes?
Yeah.
I saw him do that. I saw him. Yeah. I looked in the press box and I was looking down. The press officer took him from MUTV, grabbed him, made him walk across the touchline, and said, right, you got to do BT now. That's how it goes. And I saw him talking to him. I wonder what he's saying. And I saw Scholesy afterwards as well, and he was in a good mood as well. And when you see what he said about Castromiro,
it's like the oil in the engine, right? Castrol GTX, brilliant, yeah.
And what I'll say is, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, after the game, we was waiting to see if we could catch up with Casemiro, and the reason why he didn't come past, he got pulled in for doping, mate. For his tests. He's him and Malacia. He's back in Barcelona, had a good game, apart from that mistake. And they thought, check he's not on steroids, mate. You know what I mean?
And to be honest, but like I said, it was just it's funny now because actually the pressure's almost flipped a little bit because there is a bit of expectation now next Thursday of actually, you know what, we should probably win. You know, they've got Pedri, they've got Gabby missing, and it's like kind of like actually Barca ain't that good. I mean, the first thing when I spoke to Kenny after the game, he went, nothing to fear of them. They were poor. They were poor, Flex. They were poor. Poor. They were poor.
Yeah. Big up, Kenny. Oh, what a guy. Yeah, and you know what? That does flip it in a way because now we are going into this game. I mean, me and KG said in before. We went into it and said, "Oh, you know what? Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Like we can beat these. Don't be." Me and KG said that, and that's even me saying it. I'm usually the most cautious, but I was like, "We can beat these, or we can not get beat," is what I said. And actually, I think I did predict a draw as well.
I think I went with a draw as well. I'm not sure how much I believed it, heading into it, but I did say a draw also.
Yeah. Did I call Benny McCarthy Quinton?
When did you do that?
Yesterday, I saw Benny McCarthy.
And you didn't call him, not to his face, Fleck.
What do you mean? I was right with him. I wondered why he didn't really stop to say hello. South African, isn't it? That's crazy. Raw. Mina's not going to lie. I must have done that.
Look, they're all saying it. Saying, yeah, you said it. Flex.
Why was I thinking that? That's crazy.
You know what's crazy is that you've just learned that now. Like the vlog's gone out and now you've just.
That's what I mean. I didn't know that. Wow. He still gave me. He still said big up as well, but not. It was reluctant. He probably called him the wrong person. I mean, like exactly like Skilana says, Quinton Fortune, great servant to the club. It just wasn't Benny McCarthy.
he's not the striking coach.
Listen, man, I don't know. I was in a good mood. I was on cloud nine, mate. So did I see? Saw Bruno, Dallo, Tom Heaton, the Ghost of Rafe the Phantom, Jaden. I was right next to Rashi when he's doing his interview as well. He was in a good mood.
Well, you say that he
wasn't
after the game. He was annoyed because not only did we not win, but also he's right.
The red card
been sent off. That is a red card.
I said it about Koundé. Who did I say? I swear I said it on this show, but I was telling KG Fraser. I said I watched that guy at the World Cup, and I know he has to play at right back, because he's a centre back or whatever. I'm telling you now, Fleck, right back, he ain't that. He ain't.
By the way, I don't know how long we're going to stay on for, but if you're watching, if you can find that Quinton Fortune clip very quickly and load it into the back end of StreamYard, that would be
load it in. Even I want to see it because I can't believe it.
That would be terrific. I don't know. I'm going to send Josh a message as well. But also as well, just to steer it back to the takeover thing for just a second. So one of the a Qatari account, Majid Dauk Khalifi, I think I probably absolutely butchered it, saying on Twitter, he's the editor-in-chief of the Doha Arabic and English East Stadium outlet, posted yesterday, again, before the game, a picture of the Manchester United crest saying Man United Qatari. He's then posted up a follow-up tweet 15 minutes ago with a picture of the bidder and also the crest once again, and putting the Qatar and English flags, basically implying that this is what they were referring to yesterday as well. I'm also going to message Josh to say, have you got the clip?
Yeah, if it takes too long, then we're not going to do it. And then just load it in for the next show. I won't duck that because that is insane. That is insane. I had no idea I'd done that. Lil Yo-Yo says, how was Quinton Fortune, Fleck? I know. He was great. He was smiling and everything. I bigged him up for the work he's done with Rashford. Santiago says, and he's also been a member for 8 months. Big up Santiago, one of our longest serving members. Says, we need a remix of the Nketiah song with these lyrics. Flex's hotel is in trouble. There are spiders in the room.
I did see that as well. I saw a lot of a couple of things there actually. I saw the Gary Neville impression. Very good. Really, really good, Flex. Well done. You're in big trouble. I enjoyed that tremendously. But also, I also enjoyed what was the thing? I forgot my train of thought now because I've just seen Josh coming to the back end, so you might actually have the clip.
Yeah, he's gonna
I'm a bit nervous about actually watching it if he does have it. Because
I'm not. It says what it says on the tin. They said I've called him Quinton.
Yeah, but like like secondhand embarrassment or secondhand sort of like cringe or whatever. I'm not sure
Nah,
how.
I've done loads. Listen, mate, you're talking to me who apparently I judge all the players and make them injured. So whatever.
Oh,
And I've done the Casemiro one with the thing. So nothing,
oh yeah,
that's just
the cabbage. Yeah, the
yeah.
cabbage.
That's
That
why I wanted
was
to try and wait for him to correct that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Or my luck, do it again.
Oh, that was what I was going to say. Yeah, the spider. Can you
Yes.
expand on how big the spider actually was?
Bro,
Was it a
listen,
tarantula?
that was hilarious. I didn't know that myself. Couldn't say that word. And I hate that word, bro. It was a fair size. Josh will tell you, even it was a decent size one, man. It was a decent size, and we were just talking. He was on his bed that side, and I was on the other side. And I was talking to him, and I just saw this thing come out his pillow, and I just jumped up. I said, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! It's in there! It's in there! No! Oh my god!" And he was like, "What? What? What?" He just started laughing his head off. I said, "There's a spider. It's in there. It's in your pillow. It's in." I was like, oh,
It's in your pillow.
"This is it, bro."
Was
It came
inside it.
out of his pillow. It came out of his
Oh,
pillow.
what? So he
What are
could
you
have been.
talking
He could
about?
have gone to. He could have gone to bed at night.
Could have gone in his mouth.
They say that happens, don't they, with spiders? They
100%,
say,
bro. You
isn't
don't
there a
think
thing
I'm
about
taking the piss?
how many crawling?
It
How big was
came
it?
out of his pillow. It was probably like
It wasn't that big, was it?
it was. No, Josh, it was. It was. It was quite big. It was probably about that big. Wait, that's little, isn't it? It's probably
Yeah.
about that big. It's probably about that big. It was a decent size, bro. I'm telling you, I was talking to him, and the spot, and it was right in his face. He was leaning. The way he was leaning, because he was facing my side of the room. So the way he was leaning, he was leaning on the pillow, so he couldn't see that side. And then it just came out the side, this thing, and just went. And I
Right,
said to him, "Nah," I
Flex.
said, "Raw,
We
go."
can talk about this all. We can talk about this forever. I've got the clip here. I haven't even seen it, so I don't know what it is. I'm going to play it right now for you. Let's see. Let's see.
You have to say, man, that's humbling. That is mad humbling. Even when you see Scholes in there hailing you up, see Wes Brown in the tunnel down there, Owen Hargreaves, I was just saying hello to him, but to know that he sees what we do here on United View and to big us up on asking good questions, man, that's humbling. Quinton, well done, man. He's the man why Rashi's sick. Yes, Luke, bro, you're smashing it centre half. You tried not to give it away. You knew you were starting as well. You knew.
Oh no! Oh no!
Like, do you know what I love about that? Yeah.
No.
Nah, Owen, do you know what I love about that? Yeah. Strong, like not even mumbling because I was a bit. I can't remember.
No.
Strong. Wow, and that's why he walked straight past. Because I remember thinking, I thought he would have been a bit more nicer than that.
Oh, I
That's
didn't realize
insane.
it was going to be
But you
that
know
bad. I
what?
didn't pick up my chair.
Bro, but why has no one said that? Well, that's crazy. That is the most maddest thing I've ever done, you know, in hindsight. That is the maddest thing I've ever done.
And it's probably like turn around. You didn't see him coming as well. You're like, Quinton,
Yeah.
how's it going? You're all friends. You're friends, mate. Oh,
And then you know what else, Owen? You know what else as well, yeah? I'm like, that's the reason why Rashi's been. I haven't. To me, it's normal.
You still have. Who's
Nobody's
keeping you honest? Who's keeping you honest
bro,
in that situation? So someone should say, Fletch, you do realize you just said Quinton Fortune.
Even he didn't say anything. But the reason why he didn't say anything because his name's not Quinton, so he's like, no one's talking to me.
Wow, and also as well, you want to be polite. You want to be polite in those situations, right? Don't you? You don't want to be like. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if he said to you, "It's Benny McCarthy, mate"? You'd be like, "Oh, jeez." And as you talking about, it's really gratifying them seeing what we do and appreciating what we do. You're right, Quinton. The time
I've done that. I was speaking to Wes Brown actually near the tunnel yesterday, and it's like, imagine I just called him the wrong name. Like he's been in the treble winning side, and it's like I said to him, "How's it for you being back here?" Because obviously he was on the bench that day. He was young in it, but he was like, "Oh mate, it's amazing." In there. I'll tell you one thing though. What I am talking about there when I'm talking about Owen Hargreaves. One of the most amazing things happened actually. I actually done a little bit of a fanboy thing because I saw Owen Hargreaves and I said, "How you doing, Owen? You all right?" And you know what he said? He said, "Oh, how you doing, man? You all right? I always see you in the press conferences. Well done. You asked really good questions." He went, "Laters." And he walked off. I mean, and you know, Josh is like, he's in the moment of like just shooting, doing what he needs to do. We just looked at each other and went, bloody hell, that's good, isn't it? Like, let's just hope that in the next press conference or wherever I call people by the right names.
You have to say, man, that's humbling. That is mad humbling. Even when you see Scholes in, they're hailing you up, see Wes Brown in the tunnel down there. Owen Hargreaves, I was just saying hello to him, but to know that he sees what we do here on United View and to big us up on asking good questions, man, that's humbling. Quinton, well done, man. He's the man why Rashi's sick. Yes, Luke, bro, you're smashing it centre half. You tried not to give it away. You knew you were starting as well. You knew.
At least I got Luke Shaw's name right.
You did it twice. You didn't just do it once. I didn't realise that the first time round. You go, Quinton, how's it go?
At least I was sure. At least I was consistent. It's just one of them things. I can't believe it, bro. What was I just thinking of, like famous South African players, or I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know why.
I mean, to be fair, I sent you a voice note the other day saying the opposit of something I was going to do.
Yeah, you was. Yeah, you did.
And then I denied I said it. I went, oh yeah, I'll do that. You're like, no, you won't. And I went, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I won't do it. And you were like, what? Also, by the way, just in the last couple of minutes, this comes from an outlet in Qatar, Al Watan in Qatar. They've got over 285,000 followers. I think they're a news outlet saying, quote, some sources say that the Qatari offer exceeds the €5 billion mark and thus could break the record for the biggest sale of a sports club. So I get a bit more information on the fee involved there.
Glazers would definitely want that as well. You know, bow out on a high, selling a franchise for, you know, a club for a record fee. Andrew says, I've got some heat in the chat. I'm not suddenly moral. I am saying with all I've learned, we have to be broad-minded. Peace be unto you all, and glory, Man United. Yeah, I don't know what heat you got, but like I said, everyone's got opinions. Let's just keep it opinionated. That's it, and respectful. Yeah, peace be unto everyone. Before we sign off, have we read all of super chats? There you go. Hey, thought you used the blue badge to park outside. Me? Oh, he thought you used it. Oh, what? Because I said his name wrong. Because I said his name wrong, probably. And I think we are good. What a show. Wow.
Had a bit of everything.
Wow. Had a bit of everything. But to take it back to what it says right there, though, at the bottom of our screens as we finish off. Wow. Qatar make a serious bid to buy Manchester United for a reported £5 billion fee, or £5 billion fee. We don't know what currency that's in. And we have to watch this space now, innit? This is it. And in other news, I called Benny McCarthy Quinton Fortune. South African, you know, ex-footballer. I'm trying to draw black. Trying to see, you know, Man United connection. Both both worked for the club, you know, been paid by the club. But, you know, it happens. It happens, doesn't it? Oh, yeah, I'm crazy, man. I like it. I'm not changing for the world, though. I am who I am. My brain does mad things. Like how I say to KG, don't change. That's my... And you know what I might even do for Banter? Next time I see him, I'm calling Quinton again. I'm just going to say, I'll actually say, listen, I called you Quinton last time. Can I keep calling you that?
I wouldn't.
Maybe just call him his name.
Yeah, maybe. You know, if you're looking for that interaction, it's a strange approach to getting that, you know, exclusive interview is call them the wrong name every time you see them.
I might clip that and send that to someone at the club to say, just tell Quinton I said, I'll tell Benny I said sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And the best thing, you know what the best thing would be is if next time you just happen to be walking past him, he shakes your hand, he goes, all right, KG, how's it going, mate? You'd be like,
I'll take that. I'll say, yeah, I like
Ted Lasso. You know what I mean? Ted
Lasso. Yeah, I like what you did there.
Is there any more episodes? Is there any more series of Ted Lasso coming up? I can't really say, you know what I mean?
That was funny though, because Luke Shaw, when I said to Luke Shaw, because in the press conference, what was it like watching it? Because you know when someone said to him, "Oh, Luke," I think it was Melissa. She said, "You could be out there tomorrow night at centre back," and he smiled and went, "I don't know. You know, to be honest, don't know the team yet." And one of the press officers started laughing. Eric was just a bit smirky, and he just, I was like, "Piss off, Luke. You know you're starting." And then even afterwards, he was quite laughable. I don't know what it looked like on TV. I don't know if they might not have zoomed in on him on that bit.
He just looked like during that press conference that he wasn't really up for doing the presser. He was like,
He's never. Luke Shaw's that guy. He's not really. He just
And look,
wants to
the
chill,
thing
man.
is, the presser duty is a very mundane. You know, you like.
I bet they all laugh about it.
Even Eric doesn't want to do it most of the time. He gives short answers. Are they available?
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly. Then the odd journalist will ask something stupid. Then some of them ask something good. And then that's it. Exactly. Anyway, guys, smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. What a show. What an evening. What a revelation. And we'll see where this goes. As always, we will keep you posted with all the latest news of this takeover bid. This is a piece of history, what is about to happen in some way or another. Anyway, it's the changeover of the guard. It's the changing of the guard. You know, the club is going to change hands. The Glazers are looking increasingly likely. I'm not going to say it's definitely happening because you never know. But it is looking increasingly likely that the Glazers are going to sell our football club and they will not be our owners anymore. It is a very, very significant process and a significant time for the club. And we're going to bring you through every single bit of it. Take care, guys. See you again soon. As we approach match day, it's not tomorrow, but I'm saying just weekend in general, straight into another big game against Leicester. Will there be more points dropped by Arsenal? I tell you what, just before I go,
I ain't going
to lie, Owen. They're in big, big trouble. But what I will say, Owen, I'm nearly starting to be. Owen. It's getting. If one more,
Well,
I'll say this: if one more slip up happens, even now, technically, you could say, "Well, it's."
I'll ask you a question. I'll ask you a question. Okay. I know where you're going with this. We did it. We did a show the other day. It was a simple question: are Man United in a title race? I'll ask you the same question: are Man United in a title race?
Yes. Yes.
Well, play the end card. Boom.